Hello, everyone. Once again, thank you for joining in. Our next session is something not just for the brides and the grooms or the couples here, but for everyone on this platform. Having a harmony between work and life is very crucial, and that's why we have our experts here to explain us more about how to maintain a healthy balance between your work and your personal life. So, starting off, we have Natacia from Tacia Divine Events South Africa. She is the CEO and co founder of the company, and she's been with us from the very beginning. From Sri Lanka, we have the proprietor of Planet for You. We have Ranmali. She's a speaker, a writer, and an amazing event planner. Next, we have the expert Dhruv Aima from Shangri-la, Bangalore. He has over 10 years of experience in the hospitality industry and in the luxury sales. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. We are also joined by Abhilash Sriram, co-founder of Taarini Weddings. He has spent the first 10 years of his career working in the hospitality industry and in the banquet department. It's a pleasure to have you here. And we have Innayat from Innaz Communique, all the way from Jakarta. He's a destination wedding and event planner, and also a moderator for this session. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for joining us. And Innayat, over to you. Thank you.
Hi, how are you all doing?
Good afternoon. We good, thank you.
Hi, Innayat.
Wonderful,
All
wonderful.
good.
Dhruv, how are you doing?
Long time. How are you? All good. How are you?
Very long time. Good, good, good to see you again. And sorry, that's Ranmali, is it?
That's correct. You say it as
Did I
Ranmali?
Ranmali? Got you.
Yes.
You.
Okay, great. So we're basically we're waiting for a few more, aren't we? Or are we good to go? I think we'll get started. We're good to go. So basically, today we want to talk about. I think it's the most complicated discussion and the most. It's actually one of the most frequent discussions I actually have at home, and I was actually my wife was just asking me well, what's your topic on, and I was telling her it was about what we're just about to about on how you separate your social life from your work life, and she was like, why are you talking about that, because it never actually happens with your line of work. So 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 we just had a bit of a laugh, and I'm actually lucky enough where my wife and myself work together as event planners, but we keep it very very sober, where she has her own division and I have my own division, and we make sure we don't cross lines. um, it is very interesting, and it is very tough at times, but it's a great challenge, and I think I'm one of the lucky ones where I get to work with my wife as an event planner, and that gives us a little bit more time to spend together, and more common stuff to actually talk about. It is very interesting, and it is very tough at times, but it's a great challenge. Hi, Abhilash, how are you?
We are doing great. How are you all guys?
Good. I think I have. Do I have a bit of a delay here, or are we good to go? Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So let's go clockwise on my screen. I'm going to start off with Romali. What is your position in your role job, and how does your personal life and your affect you? Tell us your back end story. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of you a bit about your back end story, so our speakers and listeners know what we're dealing with, what position all of you are in, and then we will break into actually finding out the solution to the problem.
All right. Thank you so much, Inayat. Just to tell a little bit about me, this is the hard question for me. I do a lot of different things. So when people ask me, what are you or what do you do? It's such a tough question to answer. So I work as a communications person. I work as a writer. I work in radio currently. I am an event planner, which is why I'm part of this forum. Other than that, I also work in corporate communication. So I do a lot of different things, but I still feel like, I still have time for my family, for my friends, and, even for my pets. To tell you a little bit about Plan It For You, I just started it off with a friend of mine. And we started off as a really tiny company. I mean, up to date, where we're not a big name in Sri Lanka, but we're still doing well for ourselves. And in Plan It For You, we do anything between, from weddings to corporate events to anything.
To any friend of mine, and we started off as a really
I think we're experiencing a bit of a delay, but let's
Yeah.
work around it.
Okay, you can carry on. You can carry on. I got your back. So
Okay.
So that's my backstory. And for me, my mantra in life is to the whole idea of balancing your work life and personal life is to really do things that you love. You shouldn't feel at the end of the day that you're doing a job. It should be your passion. I feel like that's what gets me through everything. That's why I'm able to do a lot of different things and still enjoy it.
wonderful. Thank you for that introduction. Now we go on to Abhilash. Is it Abhilash? You want to explain to us what you do, what your role, and just a bit
Yeah.
about your work
So,
and what happens.
yeah, as rightly Shivangi introduced, I pretty much grew up in the hospitality industry. It's now over 20 years plus. I've been working in the field, and a decade I spent in the hotels, and then I moved to the the wedding planning and the decor field. I think over the last 20 years, I've just only seen work in my life. But if you have asked me like how it was before the COVID, I was a very different person altogether, and I could say like work was my life. 2019 and before, but over the time I did realize that definitely that's not something that we're gonna continue living like that. And as rightly by you also in I even my partner, and I mean even my wife is also is my partner, so we both work together. So I also realized that prior to the COVID, over working too much, I have sort of lost my friends, my family, relations. A lot happened, because our work demands so much of work, and whatsoever may happen, our couples, our brides, they want us to be there at the event. That's been the ritual. That's been the practice throughout whatsoever your health conditions are so. But over the period of time, no doubt I do understand that it is important as a work life balance, but I personally felt it's purely a myth. It's impossible to have a work life balance for the kind of an industry which we are in. uh, so if you ask me how can we balance 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of personal and family time, I think it's surely impossible, right? And so yeah, instead of we have come together, me and Soumya, who's my partner, and we thought of looking at clarity, then the balance, which probably lead us to more of harmony. And from there on we sort of picked it up very slowly. We started working slow, and we started doing quality work, and we have clearly put across our business goals, what we wanted to experience out of our family, what we want to experience out of our friends, and all the relationships. I hope guys you're able to hear me.
I think Abhilash, I
Yes,
think
we are.
you might have another tab that is open. Our host Rohan is just letting us know that to check your other tab in case you have another one that's open. You have a double voice coming through. I'm not sure if it's from you or someone else.
Oh, is it? Yeah. I hope guys you're able to hear me.
We could hear you. We could hear.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you twice. It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, I guess now we have the same view as your wife. Every time you say something, we hear you two times. We make sure we hear you. Okay, wonderful. Thanks for that introduction. And
Uh,
Natacia, on to you. Let us know a bit about yourself and what your work surroundings get you to do.
Okay, thank you so much. Sir, I'm a divorced single mother of three. I started the events industry formally 6 years ago. That's when I opened my company. Prior to that, I used to be in corporate at one of the four major banking institutions here in South Africa. And I developed a passion, or let me rather say, it's always been there, a passion, coming from a grandfather who used to organize festivals and a grandmother who used to sell food, you know. So I guess it's always been in my blood. I just never really realized it. So only in 2016 did I the passion and the love of events, and then I started my own company. It's quite challenging being a mother, being a daughter, a sister, an aunt, and for me, balancing my work life and my personal life. It's sometimes it's a bit challenging, but it's a balance that one needs to, you know, by all means, you need to always impose. Otherwise, you'll have challenges. I am fortunate enough to be surrounded by, you know, a huge family support that I have, from my children to my, you know, distant relatives and my immediate families as well. That should I need anybody at any point in time, I just pick up the phone. So in that sense, I'm not really a single mom because I've got other people helping me in the parent, you know, and family dynamics. But in terms of the business, it's quite, you know, it takes a lot of your time running the business that we have, because at some point, you know, you can be working 7 days a week without even sleeping, preparing for an event, you know, just one day. So you need to be able to balance work. When it's time to work, focus and work. But when the work is done and you don't have any goals or objectives to meet for that month, set aside time to be with your family and your loved ones, and to do things that really motivate and inspire you, you know, things that bring out the best in you, so that you are also fulfilled in life. If you're fulfilled, you perform a fulfilling job, you know, and you give the best of yourself to the other people. So it starts with you. You know, there's a quote from this other doctor that I really like. She always says that be the best version of yourself, and you can only show up best for other people when you give you yourself the best, you know. So it starts with you. Don't forget to do the important things in your life. So that's me and my take.
Dhruv, what about you, buddy? I see you're sitting there smiling to a lot of the comments being made over here. Let's hear a bit from you and your surroundings and your work life.
Thank, thank you, Innayat. It's like everybody has summarized on what we are experiencing in the industry, our field. So basically, talking about the hotel part of it, I am fortunate enough to have a fashion designer wife who understands the field we are in, basically. Now, I won't compare myself to an event planner, but I would mention that the work is almost similar and we are under the same umbrella end of the day. To talk about myself, I have been into the hotel industry for over 10 years, working with Shangri-La corporate office out of Bombay, and father to a 3 year old. So the kind of circumstances in the family is almost similar to rest of you guys, but in work-life balance, which I think is really important post-COVID, because COVID has shown what's important in life and what can be handled in a different way. And I think thanks to technology, I would really want to mention things have become much more easier to manage work from home while you're on the move, or to log in and work from anywhere, basically. And I would also mention people, the people you work with are, and your team members are also really important, because it's the part of the same ecosystem. It's our industry is 365 days, 24 by 7, and a human being is not a machine. End of the day, you need your time off, you need your 8 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep, whatever. I'm not debating that, but it's you need to have backups. You need to have dependable team members who will feel in case you are not well or not feeling up to it, basically. So that's what I would like to summarize my introduction as. Thank you.
I'm sorry. What?
Have we lost Inayat? Is he on mic?
Yes, we did lose Innayat.
Yeah, I think he lost us.
So maybe one of us, can take up the.
Oh my word. Maybe he'll be back soon. Let's give it a few minutes. Hi everyone. I didn't greet everybody, sorry.
Hi, Natacia.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Same here, Abhilash and Mali. I think we are in different geographies, but work is the same. So,
True.
Yes.
Yes, hello from Sri Lanka.
Inayat, I think
Hello.
Hey, Ranmali, is this Ranmali?
Yes, you got it right.
Ranmali, right?
Yes.
So I myself will take up the host position, so that we don't waste our time, and there are a lot of audience, who've been looking up towards the sort of extreme outlooks of each of our industries, which we are in. So Ranmali, now that I have heard so much about you in short, like you are you do so many things at place. So what do you think, like as being into the field of wedding and events, how this imbalance of work life, how it affects, can you throw some light on it?
Right. So, back in the day, my friends used to call me a workaholic as well because, I would work all 7 days. Even right now, though, I work all 7 days technically. But I feel like I've somehow mastered the art of, getting around it because I think the most important thing is that you lose out on time for your family. And then you lose out on time to sort of focus on yourself. And for me, I believe health is wealth, right? So if you don't look after yourself and you keep working, the first thing that is going to crumble down is your health. And it takes a toll on you, it takes a toll on your family. And I feel that is the biggest way you get affected. But having said that, I think that is still connected to what I said at the beginning about doing work but that we love, right? So if you look at this as just a job, and you wake up in the morning thinking, oh God, I have another day to get through, of work, then it gets difficult, right? But with the kind of work I do, what I like is that I wake up in the morning and it's always something that I look forward to doing. So that way I plan my day in such a way that I have some time for myself. And let's say so if my friends ever give birth, there's a wedding, there's an engagement, there's a pirit house. In Sri Lanka we have this Buddhist custom of having pirit. Anything, I'm always there. I at least show up for an hour, so that people know that they're important to me. Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very important because we all feel that, like we are into the field where we wanted to be extremely ambitious. We were so desperate for the perfection. We all chase behind, but ultimately, I feel we lose a lot, chasing that.
True.
Right, Natacia, you want to say something about it?
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that's so true. With COVID and before COVID, even life is too short. We put so much emphasis on getting everything so perfect, in our work, in workspaces and our businesses, and sometimes it can be easy to just forget or refocus on what is really important for me, my family, my children. That is the most important. Yes, my business is important, but I've learned that if you do not focus and don't split your time or plan accordingly, you miss the important moments in your children's life, in your family's life. So you always have to show up. What I can also echo is the fact that, if you set time aside to do things that are important to you, you risk the chance of being depressed, because at some point, if you work too hard and you don't have time to do things that really ignite the fire in you, you can burn out, you can be sick, you can be depressed, you lose out on family love and their support. So it's quite imperative that me as a mom, I always make time. So I always prioritize. If I am working on an event, after the event, I always make time to just kind of put a balance back into what I've lost. You
So
can
how do
never
you
get.
manage that in the peak season of the wedding? Like, do you really take someone's help, or how do you manage that?
Yes, I do. Like I said, I've got families, my mom, my sisters, my aunts, everybody in my business, everybody plays a role in my family. And also my staff, they play an integral role. If it's Christmas and I've got a function and I've got a family engagement to attend, I'll make sure that I show up for both, split my time in a way where I'll go and set up, I'll help, my staff and set up and make sure that everything is done the way it needs to be done. And then, take a few hours, even if it's 2 hours or 3 hours, go spend it with my family so that at least I show up, so that you're not, all the way, you're not there. Everybody must understand that you're working. At some point, you need to have a balance and say, put time for work and put time for family. And then find time also after the event is done, find time to just go back to your family and your loved ones and to re-emphasize, the fact that I love you guys and I'm here and I'm present, but my work also takes precedence.
Right. Great. Thank you so much. That's really a great input, what you gave, Natacia. Dhruv, over to you. Like, why is it important? Like, can you just break it in 3 points? Why? I mean, say we from India, we are not so used to about like work-life balance. We have not seen there is a revolutionary change. Which we have seen from our grandfathers and fathers, and now when we see the Western countries, the moment you have the Friday evening, they all set for the weekend party and all. But unfortunately, I think we have not been so great enough to utilize that sort of luxuries or amenities, in our country, typically. But we do see that there is a lot of changes been happening, over last so many years. But keeping that in mind, what do you
Yes.
think, Dhruv? Like, why is it important? What needs to be done for that?
I feel, Abhilash, to basically first start this, I think post-COVID, there has been a lot of transition in the client perspective as well. Pre-COVID is that, be it a Friday night or a Saturday or a Sunday, they need reverts in 24 hours, which is impossible because no hotel will send you a wedding quotation, which is a buyout, in a matter of 24 hours or to 48 hours. It will take at least 72 hours because there are different stakeholders involved. But now we are seeing a difference. Like people do mention that, okay, 48 hours, fine, no problem. Do come back. Now in my field, because I'm in the corporate office, I handle the whole globe.
Okay.
It's different time zones. I have B2C, US, Canada, Manila, even Singapore. So and also Sydney. I shouldn't miss Sydney. So I have to keep my calendar very flexible in a way. The good point is that the clients do prefix meetings and they show up on time. So that is something which I am proud to say. But the only thing is that you need to be very disciplined in what you are doing. Like Ranmali mentioned, in the morning, just get up like early, but keep an hour for yourself, 1 or 2 hours a day. Like do what you like. Like I love playing tennis, and I play in a club and I play where I stay. So I try to do that at least 30 minutes to. So that is something which I follow as my hobby. And in terms of clients, I would say, like I said in the beginning, thanks to technology, it is possible to revert to them within a couple of minutes, and you can pick up a call and just tell them, "See, dude, it will take some time. Just
Yes,
give me a day's time to revert, maybe." So yeah, you
absolutely,
have to be
absolutely.
frank. You can't be lying to your client. So yeah, you have to be very frank and open. That's what I
They're
feel.
much smarter rather than us. So, Ranmali, now that we have heard so much from Natacia and Dhruv, and of course, in the very initial stage I spoke. But have you come across a situation, during this work-life balance? We all hear great, but have you been guilty about any time that you have not balanced it? And the typically, the guilt gives you the feedback about what's wrong you have done. Can you give us one of the example and how you have reworked if you have a situation you have come across?
Right. So, like I said, in the past, my friends would call me a workaholic. Even now, when they want to really annoy me, they call me a workaholic. But like right now, I don't take offense in it because I know that I'm balancing it. But in the past, there have been instances, um, where I have not turned up to a friend's wedding, because I'm so busy handling an event, or like I'm working also in radio, so like I can't get a shift change or something like that. So yes, I have gone through that. I feel like you learn from your experience, and if I didn't make that mistake, I don't think I would have gotten to where I am today to sort of balance it. So yeah, I have been guilty. And even my family, on Christmas Day, were Christians, so on Christmas Day I have worked. So my family is like, okay, so you're not here for Christmas dinner. So yeah, very, very guilty. But now I work around it. So now what I do is, I try to avoid the lunch or dinner and do a different shift. Okay, if I'm having a client call, I try to talk to the client and sort of work it out in such a way that I'm still able to give time to my family.
Right. So, in fact, I want to add one point, which I asked Natacia also about the imbalance of work life. There is one thing which I have gone through very deep, and that's social media addiction. I'm not sure, how many of you all have gone through this, because especially in the field of weddings and the creatives, we all are so busy, like all the time, looking for something new. We all are so desperate to become so perfection in our design and decor and plan. And I have become myself, victim to the social media. Uh, that's none other than the Instagram. So, yeah,
Guys,
I
just to let you know, I'm back on, yeah, guys, just in case
hey,
you
hi,
missed me.
nice, hi.
Welcome back.
What's up? Sorry,
Hi,
guys.
hi,
I'm
welcome.
listening. And I'll let you carry on, and because I might have missed some stuff, and I don't want to repeat anything. So I have a few things to throw in later on, but I'm listening, and I want to see what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, we did speak about the imbalance of our work life. We
Yeah,
spoke about why is it important to the work life balance. These are the two extreme points which we have spoken in depth.
yeah,
And yeah, I was just
yeah,
sharing about my addiction of the social media and how I have tried myself to cut
yeah,
out. And yeah,
yeah.
I firstly thought of why do I not delete the apps itself from my phone. And apparently I started doing that. But I saw that that is not working out, because I'm running a system and I have such a big team who, and we have outsourced our social marketing agency as well, who runs Instagram on a daily basis. Then I decided all right, so let me just put one particular time that could be either immediately I wake up and see as what has happened and what's been happening, and then switch it off and come back in the night and 15 minutes of time. And that sort of disciplined a little bit over the last couple of months and years. But yeah, now I'm a little happy of how things are going.
See,
Any of you
it's a
experience
bit
social media?
hard to balance yourself between what you call your social media, which has got to do with your business and your personal life, especially for us. I mean, for me, I find that my business is part of my social life as well. A lot of the friends I have, a lot of the friends I have through events is through, I mean, all the guys who are my friends right now and in my circles are either my decorators, my banquet captains, the general managers from the hotels, and all these different people who are in my business are now my main core group of friends as well. So it's hard to say balance between how do you not get stuck into your social media with what is right in front of you. It's something that is an important role. You need to kind of, you know I kind of balance out. I keep on saying the word balance out because at the end of the day, like you've all said, it's all about balance and how we balance it out. Because with our work, we can so easily get lost in what we do. Like what I have done recently before COVID, we were doing up to 35 weddings a year. All right. Now, when COVID happened, and that 35 weddings a year is an average of 3 weddings a month, and about people like all of us who find it as big a team as we have, we find it very difficult to kind of let go and say, okay, fine, you go ahead and do this, and you go. We do delegate work, but we always want to know what's happening and what's going on, even though we're delegating. So it's very easy to kind of say, you get lost in your work. But what I personally did was during COVID, as all of us in our industry, we all had a year and a half break. All right, we all had a year and a half to 2 year break. Some were a bit luckier who only had a 3 month break. Right. It came to make me realize that you need to learn how to balance out what you do in life, in everything, right? And that made me think that, what, and I 35 weddings a year hurt me in 2 ways. All right. The one way it hurt me was, number one, I didn't get enough family time. All right. And number two, I did not get enough client time. But so many clients at the same time, I would always have to come up with excuses or come up with different reasons on why I couldn't meet client A because I was with client B. And then when I'm dealing, I'm always saying, oh, please talk to my staff because I'm busy at this meeting over here, or please talk to someone else because I'm busy with this, with another client. And it kind of harmed my company, and it kind of harmed my social life as well. My family life, my social life, because as a wedding planner, everybody wants to talk to the main person behind it. Everyone wants to feel special. Same thing as when you're talking to the hotel general manager or banquet manager or sales manager. I want to talk to that top tier person when I am negotiating, I'm dealing with anything like that. Even though you have a huge team who's wonderful, in our minds, we always come back to saying that, you know what, I got to talk to the top person just to make sure that everything is going okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to be at that event. I know my staff can 100% handle it. But the clients face, and they're like, okay, Innayat's here, no problem, everything will go. So my question to you guys is, how have you worked the balance? Everybody who's listening today, whether they're in the bank system, or whether they're a hotel manager, or whether they're a radio host, or whether you're planning concerts or tours, we all know the same problems. It's not about pinpoint what the problem is. It's about rectifying it and understanding going to balance it out. And my way of doing that was saying, okay, fine, and I'm not going to do 35 weddings anymore in a year. I am now going to do 12 to 15 weddings tops. That is my balance. I will give each and every client a bit of me, and also my family gets a bit of me as well. Plus, I have 3 weeks of the year which I dedicate to my family. And also, thanks to COVID, I learned how to use Zoom, and so did the rest of the world. We all learned how to use Zoom. So I'm not on my feet running from Dubai to Bali to Langkawi to Mumbai, trying to do my meetings there. It's very easy now to just open up Zoom. So that was my personal balance. What is your solution to your problem?
I would like to add a point here, Innayat. I feel since the very beginning itself, how I have evaluated the work-life balance in an Indian scenario. I believe that it would never be possible to have the balance. And since how I gave the breakup also, we all feel like in our field we wanted to say sleep for 8 hours, spend time 8 hours, with the family and work. I felt like that was something which is impossible. It's a myth. So then later, as I mentioned, along with my partner, we really sat and made certain goals, certain rituals which lead to clarity. Which has got us that sort of a harmony. And when I say rituals, what are those rituals? Is which my wife will be very happy to hear that, over the last 1-2 years, we started having dinner together. That's something which we haven't done over the years of last 10 years. And then just go for a quick walk or just sit in a balcony and talk about the day's event. So these all are created a deep connection. And that sort of brought a lot of happiness, and there is a peace. There is a peace in mind.
I want to hear from our friend from South Africa, because we all deal with spouses and our wives and our husbands who are a little bit more mature to understand the work that we have to do. And you're dealing with 3 children. You look beautiful for having 3 children. I mean, what, you were 12 years
Thank
old
you.
when you started, when you had your first one. Uh, but I want to ask you, with your kids and growing up, and you said you had a wonderful support system, but with someone who does not understand why mommy or daddy is not there because they're so busy running around, what are the conversations you have with your kids to make them understand that this is what you do, and I will give you that time, but I need my work time as well.
True, true. Thank you so much. And thank you for the compliment. So for me, it started when I got pregnant with my last born. I had to reevaluate because I used to do a lot of traveling and used to put in a lot of office hours. I'm lucky because my oldest daughter is turning 21 this year. So she's also like a support system for me. So she's like mommy, deputy mom, like step in when I'm not around. So how I have put a balance when it comes to my kids is I made sure I decided because most of the times on weekends I'm busy, structure my life in a way where before we closed, due to COVID, I used to take my kids to school, spend a bit of time with them in the morning just before I drop them off, and then I'd go to the office, and then afterwards, when it's lunchtime, it would be time for me to go pick them up at school. Also, spend a bit of time with them, ask them how was their day, what did they go through at school. It means a lot to them, that 45 minutes, it really played an integral role in their lives. And then I go to the office. When I come back late in the evening, I sit down with them and I tell them, oh, my day was this and hectic. And I always include them in my plans. If I'm having a wedding or something, I tell them, guys, this week I'm planning a wedding, and, discuss the ins and out of it. So they kind of understand my frustrations. I think they matured in a way where they know what mommy needs. Mommy doesn't need us to be crying and asking for, certain things, because right now mommy's focused on work. So I kind of lay down, the rules that mommy needs to prioritize. So when mommy's working, mommy really needs to focus. Then you guys will sit with auntie or Ceci or, their sister or, whoever is helping me at that time. But also making sure that when I don't have events, I spend all the time that I have with them doing things that are important to them, attending their school functions. So when I am not that busy, when I set aside time to say, I'm knocking off at the office, because that is important. You need to have time to say, listen, it's time for me to knock off. I have employed people who are equally qualified, and I trust you to carry on without me. So now it's my time to knock off, shut down, and go be a mom. So I usually do that if I don't have hectic schedule during the week, so that on weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, when I'm busy, I don't feel guilty that I didn't spend time with my kids, I didn't see them, I didn't ask them how their day was at school. I've had those conversations with them. Yes, they'll miss me for just going to the mall or going to a restaurant. But when I have time, I re-emphasize and iterate to them how important they are, and the fact that because I'm a single mom, I need to put in the extra work and work extra hard to be able to provide for them, and hence the sacrifice of me not being there 100%, but I put in 50% instead of 100%. So I make it a point to make time for my children when I am not available. For example, last year I was a part of the Mrs. Universe pageant, which meant I had to balance now work. And luckily, due to COVID, we weren't that busy. So it was work, it was mommy duties, and it was the pageant. I had to do charity events. I had talks that I had to plan out. So I re-strategized. I had to sit down and put in, like a work schedule to say, I'm going to prioritize on one, two, three. Bear in mind, I still have to be me. I still have to do things that satisfy me and make me happy, being Natasha aside instead of a mom. So I prioritized, I reevaluated my goals as to, like you just said now, instead of having 33 weddings, have 12 weddings that you attend. Make sure that you cut down and let your staff do the rest, and sort of, put time aside for what you like and what is important to you, to just reignite the fire in you. I exercise every morning. So I take my kids to school. And after I take them to school, then I focus on me. I take 30 minutes to just exercise. And then I start working. So for me, it's a perfect balance. I have learned to somehow put in their needs, put my needs, and then attend to my work schedule. So that's what I've done.
Awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to go through the I call this the other side, because usually it's my practice with my hotel end, where the guys from my banquet sales or the hotel managers and stuff, who I feel have the professional job as per the event planners and stuff like that. I feel as an event planner that I should be on a beck and call for my clients 24/7, and it's more of something that we need to manage on our side. But when I look at the hotel side, that as the professional side, where it's a 9 to 5 job. My hotel man 5 o'clock. That means 10 past 5, I should not be asking for quotations for certain events like that. So I want to go to the hotel side and ask you about what is it actually like working with the hotel for so many years? Is it actually a 9 to 5 job, or it's just a myth?
Okay, so to summarize it, it's just a myth actually. Like I said, since I'm talking about technology since the beginning, your clients and the planners who have become friends now over the years are connected to you throughout on your Instagram, on your Facebook, and even WhatsApp. And trust me, if you have 4G, WhatsApp doesn't leave you anywhere. So you don't have any place to go basically. So say is it's not 9 to 5, but you need to obviously convey to your partners and your B2C clients that there is a stipulated pattern and it will take 24 to 48 hours or any kind of revert to come in. Be it a simple dinner quotation or a big buyout, it will take some time because there's a process to follow. We can't just quote on we cannot just quote any price basically. And there are clients who ask us, okay, what's the rate, like on the call itself, like while the lead comes in, uh, what will be the rate on this date for this wedding? And a number of times that we have to really explain to them that, sir, it doesn't work like that. We have to go back and check with the management and come back to you. And obviously there's a pattern to it, but yes, you were right in that it's no longer a 9 to 5, and you are connected with every word.
And I now go to India with Arvind, correct? Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Because my screen, I can't really see down bottom. We have Arvind with us.
No,
Abhilash.
Abhilash, yeah.
Sorry, Abhilash. Sorry about that, Abhilash. Abhilash, you're an event planner as well, you said, right? Before I got cut off.
Yeah.
Yes. So now, Abhilash, you're an event planner based out of India after COVID. Everything did. You had basically everyone and their mothers and their neighbors and their aunties and their chachas and their chachas were getting married. Nobody was coming to destination weddings. No one's coming to me to do destination weddings right now because everyone is getting married in their own country. Now, as we know, Indians throw the biggest weddings. They have the most They have a 4 day like that. So going to my Indian partner, how do you manage? How did you manage that big boom after COVID? What did you put into place after being on a break for about a year and a half? I believe I was on a light break for a year and a half. What did you put into place? Because from my point of view, I took that year and a half and I said, when I reopen up, these are the new systems I'm going to put into place with myself and with the company, so that I can give myself this time. Systems, and did it actually work? Or because you had such a big bang, did those systems flush out the toilet?
Yeah. To be honest, Innayat, it's just not about the post-COVID, but I would say we had the very best time during the COVID as well. We did the best weddings during 2020 and 21. Firstly, and second, yes, this did happen. Even right now, weddings are back to back. How much ever your capacity is to do your client's wedding, you have those many number of inquiries, right now placed on table. But it's impossible, and my system doesn't allow, or rather we do not take so many weddings at a time. Just like Ramnali or Natacia, like max to max, in a month we work with 2 or 3 weddings, and and we are happy doing that, most importantly, and we almost like learned how to let go things as well, because one great job you do and put it across in the social media, you I mean, the last 2-3 months back itself, we have done a beautiful wedding at Leela Palace, Bangalore, and right after that, very next day I have got like 35 inquiries just with one wedding. So we have prioritized our time. We did learn to let go things, and it's very emotional for our couples and families. So it's really not possible. So we have an amazing association in India, especially every state wise. If you look at it, we have Karnataka Event Management Association. So wherever or whenever we are overloaded with the inquiries, we have our fellow colleagues, we have our buddies, where we distribute our leads and we all equally respect each other, and they take the ownership and they're super happy, end of the day, because the lead has been shared and they do a great job and they come back and thank each one of us. So that way, that sort of a pressure is what we have handled, and right now it has come down a bit. So yeah, that's how we kind of established the boundaries at work and our industry in India right now, and especially in Bangalore.
Abhilash, that sounds wonderful. 35 weddings, 35 inquiries after doing one wedding. I mean, you can pass some on to us if you want. We're still, as destination wedding planners in Bali and Indonesia, we're still feeling the COVID effect, as we say it, because we're still trying to get them over to us. So pass them on. We're more than happy to take them from your hand. But
please ship
now
to Bangalore.
yeah. Now I want to go to Ranmali, all right? Because your situation is a bit more complicated than all of us. I mean, you seem to be handling 5 jobs, from what I hear from the start, from what you said. Pre-COVID, Sri Lanka was, I would say, one of the bullseye mark on the map to grow the fastest and the biggest for destination weddings. You guys were geared to go into fast drive to receive a big amount of destination weddings coming in. It was just getting started. It was just trickling in. Then COVID hit, and every, like the rest of the world, we had that bit of a droop. And as COVID was opening up, you had a political situation now happening over there in Sri Lanka, and it's not opened up for weddings as we all expected it to. Now it is starting to trickle, and I'm getting a few people asking me about Sri Lanka as well. So now you sit there and you basically were gearing up to start running right after COVID. And you had these 5 jobs to handle. Now all of a sudden you're hit with the situation as you are hit in Sri Lanka right now. how do you manage that time that you were expecting to put into your work, and now your personal life, you got to reroute everything around to what you had planned for?
Yeah, so actually, it started in 2019 when Sri Lanka was hit with the East attack. And then,
Correct.
we were just trying to raise our heads, and then COVID hit us in 2020. And we had three waves. And right now, we're going through the worst economic crisis we have ever seen in this country.
Yeah.
I mean, forget holding weddings. People are struggling with food at the moment. So it is difficult. But for me personally, I feel like that is why being in many different jobs, being in diverse atmospheres kind of or environments really helped me. Because if I had only focused on events and done only events and been an event planner and a host only, uh, I would have had to, it would have been difficult for me to put food on the table, right? But the fact that I was also a writer, the time that COVID hit and people were at home, that was the times a lot of companies were trying to revamp their websites and stuff. So that way I had some work flowing in terms of a writer. Um, I mean, we still don't have as many weddings as you can see. And with the protests and everything going on, not very many weddings. And there's a lot of competition also. And Sri Lankans are very, very talented. And the fact that we don't have much tourists coming in, therefore no destination weddings and stuff like that, it's challenging. I don't have an answer to how am I managing it, because I think we're still experimenting. The industry is experimenting, tourism is experimenting, and I don't have an answer to give honestly to say that we're managing, because we're still struggling. So I just feel like, but there's also the other thing that I did was, instead of having live events, Sri Lanka did a lot of these type of online events. So I feel like Sri Lanka adapted to a lot of different things, but that really helps, the fact that you're able to adapt. And a lot of our young workforce quickly adapted to IT, doing different things online. That definitely helped us, but we're far from managing it completely, but we're experimenting.
Great, great, great. Okay, I think we're in the last 10 minutes where we will start winding down. What I tried to do today, and I'm sorry I got disconnected a bit before, threw a bit of a spanner into what I was actually trying to do. But what
Hi, is it me or is it Innayat? Is everyone around? Hello?
I'm still here.
I'm still here.
Oh, great. I think there's some problem with this connection. No problem.
Yeah, I think
Perhaps we can wrap it
we all
up with
getting
a
to the
little
place to
tip.
wrap the
I'm not-
Good. So quickly, two powerful tips to achieve work-life balance. To start with, Dhruv. Quick 2 points.
Okay, to some quick 2 points. Number one, and plan your day. Number two, use technology to the best. That's it.
Ramnali.
That's actually a really good one, using technology to the best. That's what we are doing. All right, so two quick tips. Maintain a calendar, both for your work life and personal life. That way you don't miss out on your spouse's birthday. Second one is delegate. I think I had a big problem delegating. So delegate your work, trust in your teammates, and it will get done.
All right, all right. Next, Natacia.
Okay. For me, it's prioritize, set goals and targets, and make sure that you set aside time for what is really important. If it is your family, if it is your own personal aspirations, set aside time to fulfill those.
Awesome. So I will sign off with two things. One, I feel we all need a mentor. We all need a life coach. Who someone and always take advices. To grow yourself is number one, the biggest tip. And second thing is learn how to let go things. In this fast life, that's
True.
only can bring a lot of work-life balance. So thank you so much to everyone. Thank you so much, Innayat. I've been
Sorry,
very
guys.
much
Sorry. That was my social life calling need to get off offline right now.
Wow, I can see a
It's
wonderful
it's
backdrop behind you.
yeah,
Thank
it's
you so
that's
much.
what saves me. That's actually what saves me from disconnecting myself. No, look, guys, thank you all so much.
Good
Remember,
night.
always remember. Yeah, wonderful. I got one next to me as well. But always remember, right? We love what we do. Our
True.
work is our life. I can speak for everyone because from what I've heard your answers from today, is all about passion and from us to take to separate our social life from our work life because our work life revolves around everybody else's social life, right? So what I would always say is work with passion, socialize with passion. um, you will be able to work it out. Each situation is different. You can't take what is happening in South Africa with an event planner to what's happening in Sri Lanka with a radio jockey host, with what's happening in India with an event planner, and what's happening in India with a hotel manager. It's all a different situation. And to anyone listening to us out there, you have heard how each of us deal very differently. We all don't have the same answers. And what I
Mm.
actually tried to do in today's meeting is I tried to take everyone's different situation of where you are to show people that look, there is no black book where you can open up to
True.
see what you can do and what you can do. You have to put yourself, take yourself outside of your body and watch yourself and see how you take your day by day. And you need to correct yourself in your own way because we all have different schedules. We all have different upbringings. We all have different families or different social kind of circles around us. So I hope all of us over here on this panel have been able to give each of you a little bit of a key on maybe how to manage it and how to take it forward. But what I try to get across here again is that none of us got the answers that are the same. Each of us have different answers on how to deal with the same situation. So it's all right to try to have trial and error. I mean, guys, you I hope what I've said is correct as well from my end.
True. Yes.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you all for
awesome.
being so wonderful. And
Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much, everyone, for that lovely session. But before ending the session, we have a video from Sally Arnold, the CEO of Sally Arnold Events from USA, who could not join us today. Let's take a look at that.
This is Sally Arnold with Sally Arnold Events, and along with my sleeping pup Ellie over there, we are joining you today from Scottsdale, Arizona. We're here to share a few thoughts about work-life balance. I can tell you from here, the struggle is real. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm recording this for you. Good reason, though. I am heading on vacation this week, so I wanted to get this finished before I head off. So let's talk about work-life balance because, what's the downside? You're going to be burnt out and it's a problem. So I wanted to share some of the tips that I use to be more efficient, and hopefully some of these will work for you too. First thing is having a to-do list. I'm a huge fan of my planner. I love writing things down. I do this every Sunday. And then at the end of each day, I revisit and make any adjustments that I need to make. The next thing I do is block scheduling. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's taking bits of time and you're literally blocking it off of your calendar so that you get things accomplished that need to be done. So it could be social media planning. That's one thing I block off 3 days a week. It could be exercising. That's another thing I block off time for 3 days a week. It really helps me stay focused. And then I know that time is dedicated and I just do that and only that at that time. The other thing is unplug. We all spend way too much time on our phones. And, if you start answering emails at 10, 11 o'clock at night or 5 a.m., you're actually training your clients. Oh, she's always available. She's always going to answer me. Don't let your clients train you. And the last thing I want to share with you today is plan. We are planners. We plan for our clients. We need to plan for ourselves. It could be something simple. Plan a trip to the park, plan to go on a hike with a friend, go out to dinner, plan a vacation, do something, but you need time to unwind so that you can recharge your batteries, be a better person for you, a better person for your clients, and definitely a better person for the people that you love. So I hope some of these tips were helpful for you. Thanks so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of the speakers today. Bye.
Thank you so much, Sally, and everyone on the panel for joining us.